Well, I'll start by saying what I don't think you should do. The public are not really interested in the profits being made by the bioeconomy companies. So they are interested in what this is going to deliver for the environment around them and also potentially for jobs. So I think when it comes to the forest economy, they're interested in what that's going to do to capture carbon. They're interested in what that's going to do to help wildlife. They're interested in what that could do to help access to forest spaces for people to keep exercised and healthy. And yes, I think they're also interested in potential jobs and potential innovations that there might be. But I think you need to talk to them in the language about what is going to be the advantage for the everyday citizen if this economy grows, rather than what's going to be in it for some of the chemical bioeconomy companies. Well, I think the industry can definitely play a part. I don't think the industry should be shy about saying the great things that it's doing. But I think you will need to engage some of the campaign groups, some of the NGOs and environment groups. You'll need to engage scientists on really proving that you are making a difference in terms of improving the natural capital of where you are. Maybe the biodiversity, maybe you've got figures on that, maybe you've got figures on access. And you need to engage the policymakers as well to get them on your side. From my own point of view, we've discovered that there is a television program that I work on which is proving very popular. And I think it's popular in a way because it has quite a simple, some might say old-fashioned formula of interesting people in their own countryside. So if it were Belgium, people are interested in the countryside around their cities. If it were Norway, they're interested in the countryside around and outside their cities. And I think in these days when we live in a rather digital world, we live in the Matrix world, if you know what I mean by the movie, people are still interested in the natural, in people who do real jobs, in people who are engaged in that. And I think it is possible to bring the urban audience along with what is essentially a rural program of work. Well, farmers are always interested, or should always be interested, in how they can get more value out of their land, especially at a time when food prices are fairly unpredictable. Indeed, food prices are always being pushed down by the retailers, so they're finding it harder and harder to make good money out of food. They need to be looking at other options. And I think the options that you're talking about today for farmers, and I would also say for foresters as well, where you're looking at chemicals that can come from this, building materials that can come from wood or cellulosic fibres, other chemicals, even medicines, that's got to be an advantage. And I would just add, particularly in Britain, with leaving the European Union, farmers are wondering where their subsidies are going to come from at all. And so they're in an even more kind of volatile situation and are looking for new markets and new ways of making money. So they should be really very, very keen on this stuff. Well, that's a little bit difficult for me to say because it kind of depends on who you're wanting to appeal to. If you're appealing to people within the industry, then that's not necessarily my forum because I don't know exactly what they want. I think if you're trying to sort of engage a wider public on this, I do think it's things that they understand. There could be presentations up there about showing what productive forestry is doing for biodiversity, what it's doing for carbon capture and storage. Maybe there's a project where they've encouraged great access and they've got health and well-being on behalf of the local population. Talks and presentations of that nature, I think could really engage people. And actually, now I think about it, could work for the industry as well, because one bit of the industry can think, oh yeah, that's how I could get the local town to support this project. Or maybe it's something like flood prevention or something like that. That's how I could engage people around me. So it becomes something that people support as well as academics and industrialists.